Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I know I haven't posted in a while, but it's been the holidays and I've had some other matters to take care of. Very cold day here in New Jersey. It had just snowed. We got about a foot. I'm inside the car right now just because it is, as you guys can see there, 33, but the real feel's probably around 29. Today I'm going to be talking about two specific topics. The front plate, and obviously I don't have a front plate, and I'm going to kind of talk about why I don't have a front plate and if I've ever had problems, you know, with obviously law enforcement, because in New Jersey and in about, I think, 32 other states, you have to have a front plate in order to basically have the car to be legal to drive on public roads. Also, I'm going to talk about my tint. I have a 15% tint on the front windows, the back windows, and then obviously the rear glass is, I think, around 15%. Could be a little less, but that's what it generally is. So let's get into the video. Okay, so let's go over to the front. As you can tell, we had a lot of snow here in New Jersey, about a foot. The roads are clear now. But just going over to the front, you can see, obviously, I have no front plate on the car. Just the black grille, and originally the front plate goes around right here. You can actually see the drill marks right there. That's actually the first thing I did once I got the car, was I took the front plate off. I think, number one, it makes the front of the car, especially obviously on different cars, it's different with different front bumper designs. But with this car, with the large grille look, it just completely messes with the styling. And it honestly makes the car look very ugly. So that's the first thing I did. I took it off. And now you guys are probably wondering, well, have I gotten in any trouble? Have I gotten pulled over for the front plate? So the short answer is no. I've never actually gotten pulled over for the front plate on this car. In where I live in the New Jersey suburbs, it's a bit of a lax thing. You know, cops don't really go out and look for people with no front plate. This depends where you live. In New Jersey, the police, law enforcement, they actually, at least the area where I live, don't really care that much about front plates and front plate. You know, they very rarely just pull you over for front plate and give you a front plate ticket. Now, if you do get pulled over for, let's say, speeding or other violations, they may mention it, so that's something to take into consideration. I've never gotten really pulled over in this car and for speeding yet, you know, knock on wood. But, you know, obviously things can change. I may run into problems in the future, but honestly, I've had cars in New Jersey for years now. Obviously, I had a Ford Fusion before this, and I've never had any problems. I never got pulled over in my Ford Fusion. So in all my cars, just to sum it up, in all my cars, including this car, I've never had a front plate and I've never gotten pulled over. Next, we're going to talk about tint. Obviously, I have a dark tint. In New Jersey, the laws are no tint on the front, passenger and driver side, no tint there, and then you can have whatever tint % you want there in the back windows and whatever tint you want on the back glass. So basically, unlimited tint here, darkest you want, no tint on the front windshield. Now, this is something actually I've gotten pulled over for in the past. I was driving actually this past summer and I did get pulled over. I had obviously the windows up, and I love the way this 15% tint looks. It looks excellent, makes the car look like that basically uniform look. But I have been pulled over for the tint. In my Ford Fusion, I had a limo tint 5%. In this car, I went a little lighter because it's easier to drive in the dark with a 15% tint compared to a 5% tint. So that's why I went with the lighter tint. But I have gotten pulled over for it. Now, I've gotten warnings. The cop basically said, you know, it's illegal to drive in New Jersey with tint on the front windshields. I said yes. I was very respectable to the cop, and basically he let me off with a warning. When I was pulled over for the tint in this car, which you can see inside, it's really not that dark compared to when I had my limo tint on my Fusion. The cop mostly was just very respectful. I have gotten pulled. I got pulled over a couple times in my Fusion just because the limo tint is so dark. But sometimes a 15% tint like this on a dark day can look limo. So can look limo, 5% tint, kind of darkness. So that, you know, in that time period, I was a little nervous because I was thinking to myself, I hope I don't get pulled over a lot in this car. So I've had issues. I've been pulled over once in this car. Cop was very respectfully said, you know, you can't have it. I said yes. And I was on my merry way. He just gave me a warning, but he did not mention the front plate in that, basically, because there's two things that are with this car. He could have mentioned the front plate. He didn't. He must have not have seen it. He must have assumed I had one. So that's that. I mean, it really depends on where you live, but in New Jersey, you will get pulled over for tint occasionally. I've only been pulled over a couple times, handful in all my cars. To make this quick video, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.